Welcome everyone to the December edition of Price Know How Snippets, our final edition of 2025. I'm joined as always by our chairman Mike Boswell and our product manager for Standard Polymers, Ian Chisnell. Mike's going to kick us off by talking about some of the fundamentals that are likely to affect feedstock and therefore polymer prices. Over to you, Mike.
Thanks, Catherine. I'll start by talking about crude oil. I think it's probably feed quite neatly into what Ian's going to say a little bit later on. Basically, the markets have been pretty quiet, actually. The decreases we've seen in prior months seem to have largely come to an end. So if you look at the average price of a barrel of oil in October, it was $63.87. In November, it was $63.53, a very minimal reduction of 33 cents. The minimum actually increased. So in October, the lowest price was $61.01. And in November, it was $61.94, an increase of 93 cents. And the maximum price went down from $66.25 in October to $65.16 in November, a reduction of $1.09. Now we come to exchange rates, and actually in pound terms, I'll explain what's happened to exchange rates in a moment. Price per tonne went from £360.25 to £364.15, an increase of £3.90 per tonne. And that's the effect of exchange rates, obviously. And when we look at exchange rates against the dollar, we saw actually quite a big decline. So we went down from 134 to 131. The combination there of concern about the UK budget from the government and all the sort of preambling that happened there and the rumours, and also some strengthening of the dollar, because against the euro, the pound dropped from 115 to 114. So a much more moderate change there. But that kind of sets a bit of a backdrop, I think, in terms of what Ian's going to move on to say. So over to you, Ian.
Many thanks, Mike. So as Mike was talking about, oil prices relatively stable, and that has fed through into the monomers. So we've seen a rollover of both ethylene at 1,105 euros a tonne and propylene at 980 euros a tonne. And what that's probably going to lead to is a rollover in euro terms in pricing for us. It is only the second of the month as we record this. One of our major supply partners is trying to secure some sort of increase, although I don't know whether or not they're going to be particularly successful with that, because I don't think the market's going to accept it. There are some little exceptions. On LDPE, we do see that market slightly strengthening. There are a few outages throughout Europe. There's a little bit of restricted availability. So that may be one of the grades that manages to achieve a very small increase. We're seeing some slight shifts in buying patterns. So as we've seen sort of month after month reductions in the previous sort of 4 or 5 months, buyers have been very hesitant to stock up. And we're seeing a shift towards sort of more regular buying patterns, people buying ahead, people buying forward. So there's a very, very strong sort of consideration that we are at the bottom of the market. Sort of the buyer sentiment certainly suggests that everybody's thinking that we're at the bottom of the market. Whether we're going to see any significant increases, probably not, but we may see some gentle rises as sort of purchasing patterns occur, and we may see some issues with exchange rate with a sort of a stronger dollar. So we receive a lot of goods into the UK which are priced in dollars, so that may shift things a little bit as well. Some good news: we've seen that the Purchasing Managers Index has improved, so there is a little bit of strength returning to UK manufacturing. So hopefully that will bolster a little bit more demand, and we might sort of see that sort of supply demand getting a little bit more balanced as we go forward into 2026.
Thank you very much, Ian. Thank you, Mike. Which just leaves me to thank everyone for their attention and for watching all year with us, if indeed you have, and to wish you all a very fantastic, happy Christmas from everyone at Plastriation. Thank you very much.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Thank you.